We've got 3 different groups going to be presenting, so we'll be kind of pushing to be make sure we get everything in on time. So if it's possible, if you have any questions or anything about each individual program that we're talking about, if you would hold them to the end, and then we'll take some time and let everyone kind of ask some questions at that point. Just to make sure you're in the right place, we are in the Promoting College and Career Readiness session. Today we'll be hearing from myself, Lauren Jones, and Heather Spicker about the Razor Coach program. Diana Johnson from Northwest Arkansas Community College and Stephanie Trollinger from NTI about the Career Technical Education Honors and Awards program, as well as Mr. Charlie Clark with the Pea Ridge Career and Tech Academy. So we'll go ahead and kick it off here. As I said, we're with the Razor Coach program at the University of Arkansas. We are a collaboration between the University of Arkansas, the Northwest Arkansas Business Council, the Northwest Arkansas Education Co-op, and we're funded through the Walton Family Foundation. And we're a 3-year pilot program that provides college and career readiness to high school students here in Northwest Arkansas. We're housed in the Counselor Education Program. This group kind of felt like, where can we house this program? It seemed like a perfect fit to house it in the Counselor Education Program. Utilize graduate students or master's students, doctoral students in our Counselor Education Program to go out and be these college and career coaches in the high schools. And our mission is basically to support and motivate students in grades 10 through 12 as they prepare themselves to make future plans in regards to college and career planning. We're currently partnering with 13 different districts. We've got coaches out in 15 different schools. We like to try to make this a true partnership, so we involve the schools in the planning process. We work with them to identify what students to target. We provide them with a list of criteria, but really ask them, what students are in higher need at your school, what students may be slipping through the gaps. And working with them, we kind of decide, which students we want to target at each school. We try to consistently listen to their feedback, communicate with them throughout the year, provide them newsletters and information about what we're doing, because we want to know exactly what we're doing that's working, what may not be working, so that everybody kind of benefits, not just the students, but the graduate students getting hands-on experience before they go out and become counselors themselves, as well as providing a resource to the counselors in the schools. So we want everybody to kind of benefit from this program. Like I said, we're a 3-year pilot program. We're currently in our 2nd year, about to head into our 3rd year. In those 2 years, we've had around 1,300 students that have applied to the program. We've been able to serve around 715 students. This past year, we worked with 520 students. We had around 353 that were new to the program this last year, and then we had a number of returning students that came back from the previous year and worked with coaches more on a monthly basis. Receive kind of that booster session, make sure they're still maintaining progress towards their goals. Like I said, we work with the schools to kind of create what groups of students we want to target. For the majority, we're working with juniors. It seems to be a good starting point to kind of build that foundation before they head off into their senior year. We work with a large group of minority students, over half being minorities, 31% being Hispanic. And then obviously a lot of our students are first-generation college students. Just over a third of the parents of applicants didn't attend college, and almost a third of them didn't even finish high school. So you can see these are students that do have high aspirations. They want to go to college. They want to have successful careers. They just may not have that support system. They may not have the knowledge or access to resources to actually go out and achieve those goals. As far as our curriculum, what the students do, we worked with our staff, we worked with colleagues, the schools, different programs to kind of figure out what kind of curriculum we need to build the program around. The foundation of the program is built around social cognitive career theory. So our coaches work at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, to do assessment with the students, to look at their self-efficacy, determine what they see as barriers, what they see as outcome expectations, and then from that really dive into the different areas of focus such as career exploration, post-secondary education, exploration, financial aid, college entrance exams, as well as pro-academic behaviors, those things like time management, classroom behaviors, things like that. Our coaches use a set of timelines as a structure to kind of guide them throughout the years to what they want to do with their students. And then we also build in a lot of different outside resources. Our coaches work constantly to see what other programs are working, identify different things that they can utilize to help support their students. So it's not, like you can see, it's not a cookie-cutter program. It's really individualized per the school, very individualized per the student. And I think that's really one unique part of the program is that the students get to actually work one-on-one with someone that they can feel open to, talk to about their interests and needs, and then really work towards their individual goals.
Switch over here. So as he mentioned earlier, my name is Heather Spickard, and I am one of the coaches for Rogers High School. And so it looks different at every school based on what the school wants and what the students want, because one of the things that we do when we go in is, the first question is, like we talked about in the welcoming session, is we ask the students what they want, what they're expecting out of the program, what they want to do with their future. So we really start that conversation off with asking them what they want to do. But just a typical day, what it looks like for us is we work a lot with goal setting. We use what we call SMART goals, and we teach them what each of the acronym stands for and walk them through. That way they can take that skill with them for the rest of their lives. We also work with students on their grades. Like Josh mentioned, it's pro-academic behaviors, making sure that they've got the grades to get the future that they want. A lot of our students go to NTI, E.Y.E, U of A, but we also have a lot of students that go straight into the workforce, and so making sure that they've got those classes that they needed to take. For example, our cosmetology students who want to go to a cosmetology program, making sure that they know that there's a program available while they're still in high school that they can do. Reviewing student progress toward promotion and graduation, again, working with their grades, making sure they know how many credits they have, how many credits they need to graduate. A lot of self-awareness stuff, just knowing where they stand in relation to graduation and getting to the next grade. Discussing their academic goals. We set a lot of GPA goals. A lot of our students are like, they know they want to go to U of A, so they've got to have that 3.0 and that 20 on the ACT to get there. So making sure that they're doing what they need to do in high school to get where they need to be. Working on students' applications for college and even beyond college. We help them with their applications for jobs. Some of our students work summer jobs, so helping them fill those applications out, because a lot of times, they ask for the education part. Our students will start with elementary school, not knowing that the job employer probably doesn't need to know where they went to elementary school. So college applications, scholarship applications, we work a lot with scholarships, helping our students identify scholarships. Providing assistance with the FAFSA and the financial aid process. And Lauren is going to talk just a moment about one of the events that we hold to kind of help them with the financial aid process. But even working with the parents, we do try to do a little outreach with our parents to pull them into that financial aid process, because they are the most important part of that part, filing those taxes so the students can fill out the FAFSA. Exploring different career paths. This one is really close to my heart, because a lot of my students do go straight into the workforce. I had one student last year who had no interest in learning about the college piece of it because she wanted to be a police officer. She doesn't really need to. She could go to college and get a criminal justice 2-year degree, but she doesn't really need to. She could go straight there. So exploring the different career paths. We use Cooter. We've used Focus 2 before. We use a couple of different assessments. We use Holland Codes. So we really work and it depends on the coach too and what their preferences are and kind of where their students fall. But and then also identifying the resources. So I know for a lot of us, we work with what we call our at promise or at risk population, and so a lot of my students are undocumented that I work with, and so identifying resources, because they're not going to be able to fill out the FAFSA. They just can't. So what other avenues can we take to get you on the path to where you can have a good job, you can have a good career, and you can do the things that you want to do, but we're just going to have to go a different route, right?
So just hold it like that.
Yep.
One thing we did for our students is, I was lucky at Pea Ridge. I had a scholarship coordinator who was willing to coordinate a FAFSA night, and she actually brought in people from E.Y.E and from other places who could help the parents with the tax part of it. But not all of our schools had that, so we actually had a Razor Coach only FAFSA night at the University of Arkansas. And so a lot of our kids from Washington County were able to come to that, and the schools actually some of it were able to bus kids down and meet parents down there, and so we talked a lot about time and what's the most convenient time and when do parents get off work and things like that. But we had someone from the university explain the whole process from beginning to end. And then we also had someone from the Arkansas Academic Challenge office, scholarship office. She remoted in, I guess, and gave us a webinar, a free webinar just for the parents about how the Arkansas Academic Challenge applies to them and what parents can do to get those things started. And really, like my kids at Pea Ridge, I started from the very beginning. I helped them apply for a pen. I explained why they needed a pen to apply for FAFSA. A lot of my students also didn't have internet access at home. That was one barrier I faced at Pea Ridge, and so a lot of the time I helped them. I sat down and I just helped them fill out every single page of their FAFSA. I also worked a lot with some parents. I met with some parents who were concerned about giving their tax information out because they just, from their frame of reference, they had never known why the University of Arkansas needs their tax information. Once I sat down and explained a lot of that to, we were able to go from there because a lot of parents were really uncomfortable with that, so breaking down that barrier. But the FAFSA night was very successful. We had a pretty big turnout. Hopefully next year we can make it an even larger set. We actually had it on campus at the Grad Ed building. Do you want to add anything else to that one, Josh?
No, we had about 40 to 50 students and
Yeah.
parents come, and it was very beneficial to them, especially getting parents involved.
Oh, yeah.
It was something we heard earlier. It's obviously needed, so it was cool getting them and actually watching them learn the process along with their students.
And we actually had a couple juniors show up as well, just anticipating needing to fill out that process next year. Does somebody have their hand up? Did I catch that? Okay, I'm going to catch it. Okay. For program events, we had a campus visit, so we had about 350 new students this semester. Well, we got 150 of our students to visit U of A. That was a big group to take around campus. It was very exciting, though. We showed the students where the library was, what is your scholarship process, where's the union, what is the union for, where is the financial aid office. We have a health center on campus. All the things that kids really have questions on. We actually got to take the kids into one of the campus cafeterias and let them eat lunch on campus, and they were very excited about that.
And for a lot of these students, that was their first time on a college campus.
Yeah.
Period. So just starting to build that college culture to where they feel more comfortable, because a lot of students are scared to take that first college visit and they end up not doing it. So just having that first time be with a group of people that they felt comfortable with.
We got to walk them through a residence hall as well, which was very exciting because they're like, where am I going to live if I'm not living with my parents? So letting them just see how the culture of a college works was really a good icebreaker, I think, for getting them where they needed to be. So, and then outcomes.
Yeah, one more thing on the events is, although we're located at the U of A, we don't just necessarily push kids to go to the U of A. We want to open up options and access to them for all types of educational opportunities. It's just that we take advantage of the resource that we are at the U of A. We do go through the annual evaluation process. We're in the process of doing that for our second year right now, so we don't have any current outcome data to share with you. But what we did see in our first year, that students were scoring slightly higher on the ACT compared to those students that weren't in the program. Some sites were seeing scores up to 3 points higher. We also noticed that students were feeling more accountable towards their schoolwork, towards their future planning, as well as being more self-aware, which was a neat piece because at the beginning of the year, a lot of students were very confident that they could go on and pursue that four-year college track and obtain financial aid. As we worked with the coach throughout the year, kind of became more aware of the fact that there may be some other options that were tailored to them. And in that, we did notice that students were taking advantage of those options. More students were applying to technical school, NTI. More students were pursuing the workforce, maybe getting some ground under their feet before they went into college. And then in talking with the students that participate in the program, one thing that really hit home was a number of them said that it was neat that they not only got to learn a lot from the program, but that they also felt like somebody was there at the school that cared about them, that could listen to them. I think that's a really unique piece. Not only to our program, that's something that may be missing in a lot of schools, is that individualized relationship with someone that they can really open up to, talk about their interests and needs with, and someone who will listen to that and then push them in the path towards that goal, as opposed to just saying, you can go to college, and you're not going to go to college, you're going to go to the workforce. So that's something that's real neat about this program, and I think that would be good to build into other programs as well.
And I also had one kid, his ACT score jumped 8 points. So I'm so proud of him.
We got just a couple minutes, but if you guys want to talk some about your students.
Okay. Like I said before, some of the common themes we ran into is I didn't have, most of my kids did not have internet access at home. So I would do things like, okay, how do you send an email? And they're like, well, I don't really know how to send a professional email. I usually use shorthand, like in texting. And I was like, okay, well, I want you to email me like I am a college administrator. Like I want you to ask about this program, and they were like, oh, okay, I don't know how. So working through those barriers of, like, once again, the culture of education. A lot of my kids got bused to college transportation because they don't have cars at home. And I had a lot of parents who, like I said, just didn't really understand the process of applying for FAFSA. So we can add that.
You know, I think a lot of mine, I had a lot of successes with my students. This is my second year as a coach, and so a lot of the top left picture you can see, that was one of my students this year who faced a lot of barriers and overcame those barriers. She ended up getting one of the highest scholarships at Rogers High School, so that was really cool just to see her succeed after seeing all these barriers that she faced. Her parents really didn't think that they were going to be able to afford for her to go to college. She didn't work, and so she is going to E.Y.E this year. She wants to be a teacher, so we got her some money to be able to achieve that goal. And down here on the right-hand side, this is a group of my juniors. It's not all of my juniors, but it's this year's kids and last year's kids. And I put this up here because I wanted to show, like, not all of these students are going to go to college. A lot of them don't want to go to college, but I've got a good mixture. Like the girl right here with the blonde hair on the left, she really wants to be a cosmetologist, and that's what she loves. So we've got a wide range of stuff that we do. It's not just go to University of Arkansas. It's go to E.Y.E, go to NTI, do what makes you happy. Go to California. Some of my students want to go to UCLA. So we really try to help and connect them with the resources that are going to help them achieve their goals.
In this picture right here, these are my kids at Pea Ridge High School who were first generation, but also in the honors college, or honors classes in high school. So that was really cool to have that academic endeavor. Like, they wanted these things, but they just didn't know how to make that happen. So.
Well, we are out of time. We'll skip over this slide, but we're currently, like I said, in our third year, so we're working to try to find a way to sustain the program long term. So if you're interested in talking with us about different types of partnerships we can do with you, let us know. Check us out at RaiseYourCoach.com or our Facebook page. That's all we got.
Really, we are used to presenting like hour-and-a-half long presentations. So it's like, okay, what can we do? So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to contact us. So
thank you.
College. I work in the Department of High School Relations, and with me today is Stephanie Collinger from Northwest Technical Institute. She's the director of the Secondary Career Center. And starting last summer, it works. Late last summer, in a meeting, Keith Peterson, who was in at Northwest Technical Institute, Kim Davis and I had a conversation about how to increase the value of career and technical education. We'd all been in all these meetings about how industry and businesses need more career and technical training in Northwest Arkansas, but students were not electing to go into career and technical programs, so how could we increase the value? So as we had this conversation, we talked about how students are recognized in the high schools for participating in advanced placement programs and their honors classes. There's ways to recognize the students that excel in those academic programs. So we wanted to take that conversation back to the high schools. And so the co-op, Cheryl Pickering, helped us schedule a meeting with principals and counselors from the local areas. And we had this whole conversation again. And we came up with two different ways, which we'll go into in a minute, about how to honor students who excel in career and technical programs. And the principals and counselors helped us set up the criteria for these two programs and what they thought would add value to their programs. We then went back and developed the awards and criteria, and we started communicating and trying to implement the two programs. So again, the goals of the two programs was to raise awareness and improve the perception of career and technical programs. A lot of what we were hearing is, the kid can't succeed in academic general ed classes, so we're going to put him in a welding class. And so that wasn't really the perception that we wanted out there. Again, we wanted to raise the value. We know that people are looking for and needing skilled trades out in industry, and we wanted to recognize the successes of these students because they do go on to state competitions, they go on to national competitions. How can we raise awareness for these things? So you have a handout that looks like this. It's been cut off at the top. It talks about the Regional Student Career and Technical Leadership Award. And on this page, it lists the criteria for a student who could apply to receive this award. And basically, we were asking the students to complete a program of study in a career and tech field, to have a 3.5 GPA in their career and technical classes. And I got to hand calculate all those. That was really fun. They needed to be a member of their career and technical student organization. And then they needed to fulfill two of the other requirements, either 100 hours of community service, have done an internship or worked while in high school, earned a industry certification, or been an officer in Skills USA or host or one of the career and tech. So we looked for somebody who did something more than just show up for class and do the work. They had to submit an essay. The essay was about what did career and technical education do for them? Why was this important to them? And they had to do a resume. Again, we're trying to build some of those soft skills and how to sell themselves. And this was open to all the schools in Benton and Washington County. The criteria went out to the counselors and instructors in the career and technical instructors at the high schools in October. The deadline was December 15th to turn in the application. We had a little snow. So we extended the deadline to December 20th. And unfortunately, I think the snow had a huge impact. We only received 10 applications from 2 schools. It was also our first year, so we're trying to grow the program. We'd really like to see more applications from more schools in the future. We had a rubric. We evaluated the students. The students were recognized at a reception. It was held at Northwest Arkansas Community College this year. It's going to move around to all the sponsors. We recognized 3 winners and 3 honorable mentions. All the students received a medal and a certificate. The winners also receive a $1,000 scholarship to Northwest Arkansas Community College or Northwest Technical Institute. We knew up front that one of the students had no intention of claiming the scholarship, but if you had read her essay, she was an outstanding student and looked at. In fact, the essays just made you cry. I mean, some of the stories and some of what they learned in their career and technical programs were just incredible. Lessons learned. Most of my lessons learned were administrative. I'm not going to require official transcripts in the future. They go to the registrar's office and get lost with 8,000 other transcripts. So we're going to change that, and we're going to change and have a flow sheet. The timeline seems to work if we don't have inclement weather because they get recognized. February is the National Career and Technical Month, so it's a good time to recognize them. We'll probably continue to do that. Stephanie is going to read you an excerpt from one of the essays quickly here.
I could read all of them, but I had to choose one. That if I could pick one, it's a great one. But this student was in the medical academy at Springdale High. She has become certified in CPR, first aid, Red Cross, lifeguard. She's earned a CNA credential. She's a member of HOSA. She stated, this is just a part of her essay, before I enrolled in the medical academy at Springdale High School, I hated school. In fact, I had been bullied in junior high and was really thinking about dropping out and getting my GED. I had no interest in school. That was until I found myself applying for the medical academy. Not only did the academy enroll me in vocational career classes to learn more about possible careers in my field of interest, the HOSA organization, but it also inspired me to pursue a career as a certified nurse's aide. So just one way that career and technical education impacted one student's life right here.
And Stephanie's going to go ahead and tell you about the second honors program. Northwest Technical Institute has taken the leadership role in implementing this.
The second handout that you have, let's see, what is this thing?
Just hit the button.
This button. Is the application for the Honors Court program. What we wanted to do was recognize career and technical students when they graduated high school. Doesn't matter if they're a business student, doesn't matter if they're an ag student, doesn't matter if they come through the Career Center, if they're at their own high school. We are going to purchase every honors cord for every CTE student that applies if they meet the criteria. The school does not have to pay for anything. So I do have some school commitments so far, that may be as of June 10th, and I have been nagging a lot of superintendents. But I have Bentonville, Fayetteville, Greenland, Lincoln, Rogers, Siloam, Springdale, and West Fork. And this was as of a couple weeks ago. What we're going to do is we're going to purchase silver and white cords for the students. The timeline, I believe the application deadline is, it says February, I believe, February 15th. 28th, February 28th. That way we can get them ordered, get them back to the schools in a timely fashion. We will deliver them to the schools. Lessons learned. Well, I haven't done this yet. This will be our first time to do this. So next time, I might tell you some lessons learned. Basically, what we want to do is we want to recognize CTE students in Northwest Arkansas. We, like Diana said earlier, we don't want that perception to be there that, well, they can just go to the VOTEC or whatever the case may be. We want to try to get away from that. So we're trying to raise the bar. Diane?
I think that's it. You know, in order for it to be successful, we really just need to get the information out to the students and the teachers. We did have a press release in the paper this last spring recognizing the students that were honored for the Regional Tech Award, and we would like for all the schools to participate. I mean, this is a way to recognize your students and highlight some of their accomplishments. So do y'all have any questions for us? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have more of the other sheets?
Yeah,
We
I
thought
think
there was
we
only
missed one.
The leadership one?
The application.
Okay.
There should have been.
Oh, there's some in the back.
Okay.
They're coming.
Stephanie, have you contacted us on this board program?
It's been announced at the co-op
Yes.
several times,
We
but
want to get involved.
Yeah.
And I actually sent, with every tuition agreement that we send with each of the schools, I even sent the commitment letter, but I can get you one.
You mind
I
sending it in?
didn't see on the commitment letter. I mean, I sent the commitment letter back last week, but I didn't see the.
The application, I just kind of revamped that, but at the superintendent meeting, I think I handed out the applications then, but I'm going to put those on the NTI website. I am going to upload those so they're on our website, because I want to make sure not only do the superintendent have the resource counselors, the CTE,
You've got it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Charlie Clark. This is Jacqueline Brownell. P Ridge is opening a charter school in August, a conversion charter. And before I get into what we do or what we are going to do, I'd like to tell you why we do it. P Ridge is a wonderful school district. Our high school was just ranked number 6 in the state, which is something we're very proud of. But as we heard from our business panel earlier today, only about 50% of students attend college. Now, those are the students we have done a great job with, we focused in on, and that's why we're ranked number 6. But that leaves half of our entire population kind of out of the mix, and that's where a conversion charter school comes into play. We work with the high school. It essentially offers the best of both worlds. See, an open charter would be when you opened a charter school in a school district and competed for those kids. All right, and open charters every now and again create conflicts. Well, a conversion charter works differently in that you work with the high school, for example. We are essentially one school. We are the P Ridge School District. So with that in account, we're always looking to do what's best for our kids. There shouldn't be any sidebars or any concerns. We are just one unity offering more and essentially better options, which we'll get into here in a second. There's 3 aspects of our job, of my job, of the school. The first is the business partners. We'll talk about them specifically here in a second, but when we talk business partners, we've gone out in all 5 of our pathways and made a connection with the business. And with these partners, we're not looking for money. All we're looking for is guidance and advice. For example, we hired a healthcare instructor at the last board meeting. When we interviewed for that position, we had our healthcare business partner, which is Mercy Health Systems, just across the road here. So we had Mercy come in and sit on the interview. Now, Mercy and every other business partner we've talked to, they're very intrigued by this because, like those guys were saying, they want to be a part of education. They see problems that they want fixed, but they're not sure how to go about it. You know, it's pretty intimidating for us to go sit in on a business meeting. Like if we all had to show up to the home office right now, we'd be a little bit out of our element. Well, they feel the same way. When they come around a group of educators, once again, that intimidation factor comes in. Well, what we found is if we go to them, we've set up, it started off as informal meetings just to kind of get ideas as to what they're looking for. And if you're wondering, the number one thing that every business partner, and I don't care if we're talking about nurses or welders, they want to talk about soft skills. All right, that is the most important thing we've got. But our business partners are going to guide our curriculum. We've set up a schedule where we take our college curriculum, which comes from either E.Y.E or ATU Ozark, and that'll be half a day, 3.5 hours are devoted to either the college curriculum or the business partner. So essentially an hour and a half a day, we'll teach E.Y.E, healthcare management. The other hour and a half a day, we'll teach what Mercy Health wants out of our healthcare students. All right, so that way the business partner feels like they have a strong say in what's going on. I mean, we have given them a quarter of our day to essentially guide us, provide, STEM, PBL, whatever term you want to use. They're going to guide that instruction. And the third part is iSchool, because iSchool is our core curriculum. Now, we're only dealing with juniors and seniors. We don't go any lower in our charter. So we have juniors and seniors that have advanced through most of the curriculum, and we are to the point in our iSchool where they need some math, science, English, and history. And what iSchool is, it's an independent view of education. It's we refer to it as a GPS system, all right? The student goes about their business. The teacher's job is to guide them through the lesson or to guide them through the subject, not mandate what they do or when they do it. See, it's an electronic delivery method. The student can access it from anywhere. Now, they have to do what's called an oral defense before they take a test, and they have to take the test on campus. That way we can still keep an eye on their grades and make sure there's nothing bad going on there, no cheating going on. But the oral defense goes a long ways, because the oral defense, they will sit down with their content teacher and defend Unit 2 on American history, essentially show that they are ready to take the test. And that's very important that they get that one-on-one interaction, because a lot of kids, they can go through a day without ever speaking to a teacher if they stay to the back of the classroom and avoid it. But in this way, we kind of take that out of the element. I told you the core courses for our school. It's independent. There's 10 units per subject. The oral defense, the 90% mastery is a big deal. When the student takes the test, they have to make a 90% on it to move on to the next unit, or move on to the next chapter, if you will. And what that does is it puts the onus on the teacher to make sure the student is ready before they take the test. Because, not everyone moves at the same rate. Some kids will sit down and just blow through English and history and really struggle with the math. Well, we will guide them. Like I said, we won't direct them where to go. It's just like in your car. If you hop in your car and go to Little Rock and you want to stop and get a cup of coffee at McDonald's, that voice, it's not Siri. Who's the voice in your car? Whoever she is. She'll tell you, rerouting, and that's what we're doing with our kids. See, don't get off track. They're kids. We're going to embrace the fact that not everyone gets from here to Little Rock the same way. Some people are going to stop at different places. You might swing through Fort Smith to see some family, but the destination stays the same. And that's what we're looking at with our iSchool. We're going to get them to that destination, but allow them to have some freedom in choosing the route. And the reason this matters is because you all had freedom today to choose your route. I mean, you ended up here because you chose to be. It helps you learn. If students learn how to learn while they're in high school, they'll do better whether it's in college or joining the workforce. So it'll improve them as a person. Because we're a conversion charter, we can still offer AP, we can still offer electives. All that works out well. We're situated behind the high school with a separate LEA number, but teachers can transfer LEA numbers back and forth, which allows us all that, because in our pathways, which we're about to get to, some of them are for what you might consider an AP student, some of them are not. But it allows the kid the option to choose and to do essentially what they want. The 5 pathways are industrial technology. In the workforce, that's called industrial maintenance. It's essentially fixing things. It's low-level engineering. We have to use industrial technology because when you say industrial maintenance to a teenager, they think you're talking about pushing a broom around, cleaning up, because that's what they see at school. It's completely different, though. It's fascinating. It's a very high-paying job. Plastic and metal fabrication curriculum also comes from ATU Ozark. In that, they'll learn how to weld and to do tool and die, so they'll pick up essentially 2 skills to help them as they work through it. Our 3 college curriculum, and what they're working towards here is a Certificate of Workplace Proficiency, which is the first step to an associate's degree. Our sales and broadcasting, logistics, and healthcare management. Sales and broadcasting and logistics are essentially different business aspects, if you will. We have a wonderful broadcasting facility at Pea Ridge currently, so we can implement that into the charter school as well. Logistics is an interesting one. You have not had a tough day until you had to explain what logistics is to a 16-year-old boy. All right, that's difficult. All right. Now, logistics, it's everything. We've got a quote hanging in our office that says, "Logistics is the base operation of every industry in every world." And the kids don't see it. They think of logistics as a UPS truck dropping off their package. But having gone to visit Walmart logistics and to visit all these other places and to see what's happening inside a distribution center, logistics is much more than that. And in Northwest Arkansas, logistics is huge. If you want a job, whether graduating straight from high school or to go on and get a bachelor's degree in logistics, you'll get a job. All you've got to do is, get that education, get that certificate, get that degree. There are logistic jobs all over the place here, and that's very important for our students. Healthcare management is a pathway that it's never going away. It's not going anywhere. It'll never be cheaper to send a sick person to China to see a doctor. All right? That's not happening. So our students will get a CNA and a PCA in this area, and they'll be ready to either start being a CNA or PCA immediately, or they can use that to help pay for college, because that's one thing we want our kids to understand from the get-go. And they talked about it in there, where you say, well, college isn't for everyone. Yeah, that may be true, but it is important for everyone to have that option or have that decision. I think about growing up, some of my buddies never went to college, they didn't make it. Some of my buddies went to college, couldn't afford it, they didn't make it either. Well, we're increasing everybody's chances at Pea Ridge because they can still choose to go to college. They're going to have a skill, they're going to have a talent and ability to get a job to help pay for that college. So maybe when they do graduate from college, they're not, I think that it's like $120,000 is the average debt on that. So hopefully we can help them eliminate that, but still keep their options open, because I think as an educator, the number one thing for us to do is to help students keep those options open. This allows us to do it. These are our business partners. Like I said, we're not asking them for money, we're asking them for guidance. Now don't get me wrong, Walmart and Beckart, we'll use them in industrial technology to help guide it, but they also have equipment we can use. That stuff, we're talking pretty expensive equipment. A conveyor belt that may not be up to Walmart's specifications would be wonderful for our specifications, all right? Because you've got to understand that Walmart is going about 60 miles an hour when these little robots come out and push it down a chute. If you get a chance to go to a distribution center, you should. It's amazing. But we will take what we can get and help our students learn on it. So in industrial technology, we have Walmart. Beckart and Rogers has been absolutely wonderful. They can't wait for this to get going. Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, we're going to set up a little HVAC lab in one of our facilities there, so all of our students will be HVAC trained, because that's another service-oriented skill that it's not going anywhere. Plastic and metal fabrication, Wilshire Erectors is a mobile welding company, and there's a big difference. See, when I think of high school welding, I think of a shop, all right? Well, there's not a ton of money in a shop welding right now, but there is a lot of money in what Wilshire does. All their welding equipment's diesel operated. It's mobile. They do buildings and bridges. They go out and weld. So what we'll be teaching our kids is that skill, because there's a huge difference between welding in a 72-degree shop indoors and welding on a bridge when it's cold and misty and all that. Huge difference. But what Wilshire does, it's making money right now, and that's something we want to stay connected to for our students. Bentonville Plastics and Bentonville Mold and Die, located in Bentonville, and what they do is he makes the molds and then makes the plastics. Terry Law's the man that does that, and he's been part of the charter movement here at Pea Ridge since before I was. He's been on it since Mr. Neal got the vision. The next two are business areas, sales and broadcasting, and you're probably thinking the same thing everyone thinks. Well, those seem a little bit odd. It's more of a communications type as you go through it. But sales and broadcasting, for broadcasting, we're partnered with Channel 4029, just across the road as well, and then Walmart TV, because Walmart TV, Walmart does their own commercials. They have a little TV studio. You see them when they go on location and do the prices in their store and all that. That's all done by Walmart. They don't hire that out. And Channel 4029, Greg Shepard's our contact there, and he's been great about everything. Nunnally Chevrolet is a company that's going to work with us in many areas. Again, Nunnally, when you think sales, or you think car dealers, you think sales. But, you know, a car dealership operates like just a mini town, if you will. There's shipping, there's receiving, there's customer service, there's sales. There's a little bit of everything there, so they're a valid business partner for us. Logistics, Walmart Logistics is, like I said, it's a different world out there. It's incredible to see, but a young man there, Tarek Islam, guides us in our logistics studies. Embassy Suites across the road here as well. There's somebody that has logistics, not only just in their shipping, receiving, but their rooms and their customer service there. So logistics is a big part. And Beckart just wants to be involved in about every way they can. And to us, that's flattering that a company of their magnitude wants to be involved in so many areas. So they do some international logistics, so that comes into play for us as well. Healthcare management, Mercy Health Systems is our business partner. And then we also are going to deal with some different long-term facilities because the CNA and a PCA require different studies, different clinical hours, if you will, so we've got to go about it. Our student schedule breaks out pretty simple. You get that 3.5-hour block for your pathway. Half of that's college, half of that's hands-on learning from the business partner, and then you have, depending on whether you're in, you know, AP, FFA, or if you're in athletics, you have somewhere between 2 hours to do your core curriculum. And then if you're a PM student, what that means is you do your iSchool in the morning because band, choir, most of your fine arts are in the morning, most of your athletics are in the afternoon. So by setting up the schedule that way, we're able to accommodate 100% of our school district, you know, if they want to be involved in it. Ms. Brownell will talk to you about enrollment.
And just go back to that slide before, if you would.
You got 1 minute.
And the reason why we created the Flex Block is that we are a hand-glove relationship with our high school. We work intricately with them. They're fixing to run an 8-period day this next school year, which I think is a wonderful piece that we can work with when we Flex Block, because when we Flex Block, it leaves this pattern open here or in the afternoon if they're taking an AP class, if they're in extracurricular band, any special bands, any special choirs, athletics, any advanced placement classes. That leaves us the flex of going in and out of the schedule. So go ahead and move to the next one. I don't have the clicker. There it is. Okay. This was probably one of our greatest areas that we grew in this year as we started out with the academy. We didn't really have a format that we were specifically looking at, but our marketing strategy became very important. The first piece that we looked at were those students who were not completers in their senior year as they were getting ready to graduate this next year. So we first targeted those students. We sat them down, we listened to them, we listened to their interests, what they felt that their strong points were, their weak points were. We met with well over 100 and some odd students. Right now we're right at currently 90-ish students. We had a little bit of fallout, but I believe that will come back as we enter the next school year. Our enrollment piece is that we want to recruit and connect those students with these correct pathways that they're telling us they're interested in. And principals, if you're wanting to know how to staff, listen to your kids because we use a student-centric approach in our staffing. Our full-time nursing teacher that we're bringing and we're partnering with Diane at E.Y.E is driven by the student numbers that signed up with our nursing academy and Mercy Healthcare. Of course, we have the pathways, and we will look at the outcomes as the students finish the program. And he's just cut me short, so I'll be quiet.
Josh told me the same thing my preacher says on Sunday. We may go long, but we won't be late to lunch. So we'll get through here. The last thing here, the grant process, and this is very important. Someone said, why conversion charter? Why not School of Innovation? For P. Ridge, conversion charter made the most sense for us. We received a $600,000 grant from the Arkansas Department of Charter Schools. We received a $250,000 grant from the Walton Family Foundation. So there's nearly $1 million for a school district our size. That makes a lot of sense to us. So we were very pleased with the way that played out. And that's that. Any questions?
If I could just say here, because transportation is an issue, I think it's an issue, and we talked about that earlier from the racer coaches, is that we're 7 miles from the interstate. And one piece that we would like to look at writing our next grant toward is possibly some type of transportation to get the students to their work sites and or some of their other college classes. We are fortunate that E.Y.E and ATU, specifically not ATU, but E.Y.E, they are coming to our site up there to help us teach some of our classes where we have to have part-time adjunct faculty.
Well, thank you again to all of the boards. lunch at 11:30. And I believe lunch, you go past where the breakfast was served and around the corner. It's all set out back there. Thank you. Thank you, guys.